So what is the value of a polynomial? So value of the polynomial is, for example, you put in a value of x, and the output you get is the value of the polynomial. So before understanding that, we need to know how a polynomial is represented, right? So a polynomial can be represented as p of x, k of x, g of x and all, right? P of x, that means x is the variable that will be there in the equation, okay? So at x is the variable that will be there in the polynomial. So this is polynomial in one variable. So p of x, q of x, g of x, that is how you name the polynomial, okay? So what is value of the polynomial? So the idea is the polynomial works like a function. So the idea is polynomial works like a function. So what is a function? The function is, let's say there is a polynomial. Let's say it is x square plus 1 or 3x plus 5, any of them, okay? So we'll call it p of x. So what can be the input here? The input will be the value of x. I can put x is equal to 1, x is equal to 2, x is equal to 0, right? What is the value? Value is the output you're getting. Your output will be the value of the polynomial. That is the easiest logic here. So what is the value? A value of a polynomial is a value for input value or point of x. So for example, we have consider polynomial x square minus 3x plus 2, right? In this polynomial, let's put x is equal to 1 or x is equal to 3. We can put any number, right? So if I put x is equal to 3, what happens? Okay, this is not 1, this is 3, okay? So if I put x is equal to 3, what would happen? It will become 3 square minus, so wherever x is there, 3 will be there. So 3 square minus 3 into, what is x? 3. So 3 into 3 plus 2. So it will become 9 minus 9 plus 2, answer is 2. So what is the value of the polynomial at p of x or p of 3? P of 3 will become equal to 2. Or we can say value of the polynomial p of x at x is equal to 3 is 2. So this is the logic. So let's try to do the same with 1. Let's see what happens. All of you can try it out. Try with 1 and see what would happen. Try with 1 and see what would happen. Okay, so what is p of 1? P of 1 will become, what is x? X is 1 square, right? So x is 1, so 1 square minus 3 into 1 plus 2. So it will become what? 1 square is 1 minus 3 plus 2. So we'll have minus 2 plus 2. So what is my value of the polynomial? The value of the polynomial is 0. So when I put 1, my value is 0. Or I can say p of 1 is equal to 0. So the input value is what? Input or the point of x. X is equal to 1. I'm getting the value to be 0. This is how you have to find the value of the polynomial. So we understood what is the value of the polynomial now. Now let's try to understand what is the zeros of polynomial. Now when the value, like in the previous one we put 1, right? So it became 0. So if the value of the polynomial becomes 0, right? If the value of the polynomial becomes 0, it is called what? 0 of the polynomial. The 0 of polynomial p of x is the value of x for which the value p of x is 0. So when p of x become equal to 0, that x, what is the input? That input was the 0, okay? If k is 0 of polynomial p of x. If k is the 0 of the polynomial p of x, then what can we understand? We can easily say, if k is the 0, we can say p of k is equal to 0, right? You put k, it will become 0. For example, it's the same question, x square minus 3x plus 2. When I put 1, what happened? It becomes 1 square minus 3 plus 2 will become 0. So p of x is equal to 0 at x is equal to 1, correct? So 1 is the 0 of the polynomial. 1 is the 0 of the polynomial, okay? So what is your 0? Your 0 is 1. That is the logic here, okay? Now, there is another logic that is about the degree of the polynomial and the 0. There is a relation. I'll explain that as well, okay? So what is this? The degree is 2, right? What is the degree? Degree is 2. How many zeros will be there? Maximum 2 zeros will be there. That is the logic here. That is the relation. It's not there for you guys. It's good to know. So it's just an additional knowledge. Degree is what? Degree is what? 2. So it's a quadratic. How many zeros will be there? Maximum 2 zeros, right? So one of the zeros we found, there might be another 0 as well, right? Okay, that is the logic. So zeros of a polynomial we understood. Let's look into the graphical representation, okay? So we write y and x and all, right? So y is equal to x. This is the graphical representation of y is equal to x. If I put y is equal to 1, x is equal to 1. If I put y is equal to 2, x is equal to 2, right? So these are the points and we get the line. This line is the graphical representation of y is equal to x, correct? Now the same way in the next graph, if you look, that is a linear graph, a linear polynomial, correct? And it touches the x-axis at exactly one point, correct? This point is the zero of the polynomial. Why is it the zero of the polynomial? Now we write p of x, correct? P of x is equal to y. The y coordinate value is the value of the polynomial, okay? So p of x is equal to 1 is the value of the polynomial, okay? Now what we need to understand is, what is x? X is the point, right? X is the x coordinate itself, okay? X coordinate itself. So p of x is equal to y, or the y coordinate, right? So that is how you have to understand. That is the logic here, okay? So in this logic, we know what is y coordinate, we know what is x coordinate, then we can plot the graph, right? So when we plot the graph, when p of y will become equal to 0, that means what? When p of x is equal to 0 or y is equal to 0. When does that happen? When it touches the x-axis. When it touches the x-axis, the height is not there, correct? Easy logic. Height is not there, or the value of the y coordinate is 0. What is this point? This point is minus 2, 0, right? Or this value is 0, correct? So that means what? Minus 2. Minus 2 is the 0 of the polynomial. What is the 0? Minus 2 is the 0 of the polynomial. So this is a linear graph. What happens to the next type of graphs? What about quadratic? This is a quadratic polynomial. Fx is equal to x square. So what is fx? Like p of x, it is function of x. That's all. But what is fx? Very simple. That is equal to y, right? So we can create values. If I put x is equal to minus 2, it will become minus 2 square, which is 4. Minus 1 square, which is 1. 0, 1. 0 square is 0. 1 square is 1. 2 square is 4. Like that. We get the points. We get the pair, right? We get the ordered pair, x comma y pair. So it is minus 1 comma 1, 1 comma 1, 2 comma 4, minus 2 comma 4. Then we draw a graph. What is this? This graph is a parabola, right? Because it's a what function? It's a quadratic polynomial. So it'll become a parabola. So we got the parabola. Now what is your 0? Your 0 is 0 only. Because it is touching here, your 0 will be 0. Very simple, right? Now let's try to understand further. When does this graph of a quadratic polynomial change? This topic is also not there, but it is good to know for Olympiad level exams. When is the graph of a polynomial, of a quadratic polynomial changes? This is the expression, standard form of a quadratic polynomial. So when the a is greater than 0, what happens? When a is greater than 0, it will be towards up, okay? It will be towards up. And if a is less than 0, it will be inverted u, like it will be like an arch. So a depends on the a, right? If a is greater than 0, it will be u-like. If a is less than 0, it will be like arch-like. Simple. Okay, this topic is not there. Why I explained, again, Olympiad level. But what is there for you guys? Let's try to understand that, okay? You have to understand where is the 0 of the polynomial. Now, where is the 0 of the polynomial? Here in this figure, where is the 0 of the polynomial? Here we have minus 2, 0 and 2, 0. So wherever it touches the x-axis, wherever it intersects the x-axis, right, it will be the 0 of the polynomial, right? So the intersection of the x-axis with the line, that point, the y value is 0. If the y value is 0, the x value is, or the y coordinate is 0, the x coordinate is what? The 0 of the polynomial, right? So it is minus 2. What are your zeros? Your zeros is minus 2 and 2. Similarly, what is your 0 here? Your 0 is 3. Okay. There are two zeros for a quadratic polynomial. So both the points are same. It is 3 and 3. Okay. Got it now? Degree is 2. So it will become 2 zeros are there. If degree is 2, maximum 2 zeros. So here both the zeros are same. 3 and 3. Okay. It is the same point. Now what about the next one? Is there any 0? No 0 here. Is it touching? No, it's not touching. So we're not getting a 0. No 0 here. That is the logic. Okay. From the graph, we can easily find out whether there is zeros or not. For example, 1, 0. Here, what is a 0? It is minus 2. Wherever it touches the x-axis, not the y, only the x. Okay. Here we have minus 2 and we have 4. Right. Here we have minus 2, 2 and 3. Correct. So cubic polynomial has 3 zeros. Quadratic has 2 zeros. 1, 0 for linear polynomial. So maximum number of zeros based on the degree, they will have that if the degree is n, that means the polynomial will have maximum n zeros. Okay. So linear polynomial 1, 0, quadratic polynomial at most has 2 zeros, cubic polynomial at most has 3 zeros. Okay. If the degree n, then at most n zeros. That is what you guys need to understand. Now, how to find the zeros of a polynomial? Let's try to find the zeros of a polynomial. If a is equal to 0, p of a is equal to 0, then x is equal to the 0 of the polynomial, right? So to find 0, we put p of x is equal to 0, and then we find the value of x. For example, we have p of x is equal to 30, x plus 30, okay? So we know p of x has to be 0. So we'll write x plus 30 is equal to 0. So x is equal to minus 30. So what is our 0? Our 0 is minus 30. Let's see the next question. We have x square minus 9. P of x is equal to x square minus 9. We'll put p of x is equal to 0. So x square minus 9 is equal to 0. X square is equal to 9. X is what? Plus or minus 3, right? So 3 and minus 3 are the zeros of p of x. So equate it to 0. Equate the polynomial to 0. Find the value of x. What is the logic? How to find the zeros? Equate the polynomial to 0 and find the value of x. That's it. Very simple.